All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, June 26th. We got a small MLB slate to jump into today, but nonetheless, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to jump into it, give you my thoughts, give you my lean or leans on the games, but all my final plays I'm actually going to be rolling with myself. Those will be in the pinned comment. Yesterday, I really wish we did not have to recap. A 1-4 night, and then Sunday Night Baseball, the individual video we did, no better either. Like, that was just bad on top of bad. So, tough one out there, guys. But we do look to bounce back today. Obviously, when you do this, you gotta own your losses. I couldn't just come on here and breeze past a terrible day yesterday. We had a great day the night before, and then I'm on here bragging about that, right? You gotta own your losses if you're doing this type of thing, which is what we're doing there, guys. But yeah, we look to bounce back today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. I mean, small slate, so this is where it's kind of tough before we get into the games, right? It's like I don't want to chase a loss, which is kind of tough because now we only have 6 MLB games to jump into today. So I think that's my only advice for you guys is, like, if you have a bad night and it's a small slate the next game, like, don't think you got to chase it. Don't think you got to bounce back in the biggest of ways. Like, that'll come in time. It's all about long term, right? So keep that in mind, guys. It's only 6 games. You don't need to force it. We don't need to have 5 plays again to try and make up for a 1-4 night, even though it was that terrible. But nonetheless, guys, before we do jump into the games, I want to talk to you guys about Outlier, my favorite sports betting research tool. From anywhere from player props to parlays to game picks, Outlier has you covered. Very, very simple and easy to use and easy to consume. Red means bad, green means good. Easy to find trending picks and everything like that. Head over, use the link in the description or the pinned comment for a 7-day free trial. You will not regret it, even if it is just for those 7 days. But I think it's well worth it after the trial. Go check it out, guys. Use that link in the description or the pinned comment. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 here. We have the Orioles taking on the Cincinnati Reds here. Cole Irvin on the mound for the Orioles. He's 1-3 with a 7.71 ERA. Brendan Williamson on the mound for the Reds, 1-0 with a 5.4 ERA. Baltimore coming off of taking 2 of 3 against Seattle, and Cincinnati, who were Reds hot, no pun intended, but pun intended. They lost 2 of 3 against Atlanta. I do think, the value pick is going to be on Cincinnati today at plus 120 over on FanDuel. I'm not that scared of this Orioles team. I know I talk about it a lot. I do like, how they've built their team. But Cincinnati, just because they lost 2 of 3 against Atlanta, I wouldn't really get off the bandwagon yet because that Atlanta team's very good. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's still some potential for this Cincinnati team. And getting them at plus money here, I think that that's where my lean is going to go. If you want to be a little bit more safe, I don't hate them on the run line. At minus 155, you're paying a little bit of juice, but you're getting plus 1.5. I think if they can keep this game close, 10 straight games as underdogs, when they're getting plus 1.5, they have covered that line. Even both losses in Atlanta, they lose 7-6 and covered that 1.5. So they are keeping games close for sure. In terms of a total, 9.5 runs here. I went back and forth on this originally, but I ultimately lean towards the over. I don't think either one of these pitchers are going to, neither one of these pitchers are shy about letting up runs here, especially Irvin on the mound for the Orioles here, coming off of a pretty, 2 of his last 3 starts, pretty bad here. And Williamson definitely is kind of like that 5 innings pitched, 2 to 3 earned run guy as a floor type pitcher. So I do like the over here, 9.5. I wish it was 8.5, because I could also see this landing on 9, which would lose us on the hook. But nonetheless, guys, I lean towards the over. Main lean in this game, though, is going to be on Cincinnati. Whether it's the money line or the run line, still yet to decide, but I think it's a Cincinnati side game. All right, Mets taking on the Brewers here. Mets heavy favorites at home. They're coming off a series in which they lose 2 of 3 against Philly. Brewers take 2 of 3 against Cleveland. That was one of our losses yesterday. The Brewers beating the Cleveland Guardians there. Verlander on the mound for the Mets. He's 2-4 with a 5.4 ERA. Carl Ray on the mound for the Brewers here. He won his last outing. He's 3-4 with a 4.88 ERA. I don't love the pitching in this game. Verlander obviously has the name and, I guess the esteem of this superstar pitcher. Hasn't really been pitching like that as of late. So can he do it? Does he have the talent to do it? Yes. But nonetheless, I still do look at the over 8.5 in this game as my predominant lean. I think that I slightly lean towards the Mets in terms of a game pick here, in terms of a side. But yeah, my favorite pick in this game is going to be the over. Like I said, the pitching, I think that they're well capable of letting up a bunch of runs. And sure, you could be like, well, it's Justin Verlander. He's really good. He was really good, and he is still really good, but just not playing or pitching like the Justin Verlander that we probably all grew up knowing and still love type of thing. So I lean towards the over here. The Mets scored 4 and 6 runs in the last 2 games here, and the Brewers coming off a decent scoring output in that Cleveland series. One game they did have a low scoring output, but other than that, 2 of the 3 games they scored 7 runs and 5 runs. Let's go ahead and do that again today, and we cruise to an over 8.5 in this one. All right, Braves taking on the Twins here. Minnesota took 2 of 3 against Detroit, and Atlanta, we already talked about, they took 2 of 3 against Cincinnati. Spencer Strider on the mound for the Braves today. We know him, 8-2 with a 3.93 ERA. Sonny Gray on the mound for the Twins, 4-1 with a 2.44 ERA. Both pitchers coming off of decent starts out there. I like the under 8.5 in this game. Though the Braves offense has been rocking and rolling, this Minnesota offense has been super inconsistent. I think the Braves control and win this game, but don't really love a side pick in this game because they are minus 200, and I wanted to take them on the run line at minus 1.5, but we got burned by that yesterday. They had a comfortable lead, and they were actually up like 7-4 at one point, only end up winning 7-6 against the Reds, so kind of scarred by that, but I do think this is a Braves side of things at home here. If you want to pull the trigger on the run line, fine, you're going to get even odds over on BetMGM, which is some good value if you ask me, but I like the under 8.5 runs in this game for sure. I just don't think that this Minnesota offense is going to be able to get to Strider today. In Atlanta, though they've been scoring a bunch of runs, they are going up against one of the better pitchers that they've faced now in the last probably, 6 or 7 games. All right, guys, before we continue with this slate, I do want to talk to you guys about Sleeper. I've talked about them for the last few videos here because I've been using the app like crazy. I love it, guys. It is another DFS player prop pick'em type app, but they do things a little bit differently. They don't just follow a normal payout structure. 2 for 2 equals 3 times, yada, yada, yada. No, each and every individual play on that on the app has a different multiplier and different sort of payout structure. So if you put 3 different players together with different multipliers, you can end up winning, a bunch of different multipliers of whatever you put in. You put in $10, could 3.6 times it, or it could 8.6 times it type of thing. You can win up to 100 times over on Sleeper, which is really cool, and they have way more plays. Like every single player prop that's actually out there is on Sleeper, which isn't the case for the Prize Picks of the worlds or the Underdogs or the No House Advantage, Jock Markets, Thrive, all those out there, guys. So go check out Sleeper. Get 100% of your first deposit matched. I've been using it. If you follow me on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, we're posting these almost daily at this point now too, so make sure to check that out, guys. Sleeper, you will not regret it. If it's legal in your state, go pull the trigger. They'll match your deposit. Like I said, that's free money on the table. You put in $50, they're going to give you $50. You have a new account balance of $100. No brainer. And like I said, the payout multipliers are really, really cool the way that they do it. So go check out Sleeper today. Use that link in the description or in the pinned comment. Let's keep the train moving. Here we got Texas taking on Detroit. The Rangers, obviously huge favorites in this one. They're minus 200 right now. They're coming off of losing 2 of 3 against New York, and that's 2 straight. And they've lost actually 5 of their last 10 games here, which they're kind of floating back and forth. And it's not like their competition has been all that difficult. So this Texas team, though they were on a streak and a red hot team, they've kind of cooled off here. We already talked about Detroit. They lost 2 of 3 against Minnesota. This is obviously a Texas spot here. I like them on the run line today. I think they win this game by a bunch, but I don't know if I pull the trigger. So my lean is going to be there, but I kind of almost want to be proven to me that this Texas team is kind of back on track. They just haven't been scoring that many runs. They scored 4 runs against New York, then they scored 0 runs, and then they scored 3 runs. It's like this Texas team is the team that was supposed to be scoring, 5, 6, 7 runs at minimum at one point when they were hot, right? And on the mound for them today is Andrew Heaney, 5-4 with a 3.98 ERA, going up against Matthew Boyd, 5-5 with a 5.63 ERA. Both of these pitchers have had up and down starts this season. Andrew Heaney coming off a little bit better of a start, I guess, or a better last few starts, I should say, than Boyd. So I'm going to trust the Texas Rangers here to get the job done. But like I said, in terms of making it a final play, and that's just me being transparent, I might need to see it with my own eyes before I can trust this Texas team to win by 2 runs against the Detroit team. So I am going to lean in that direction. Then in terms of the total 9 runs, it kind of contradicts what I'm saying, but I like the under 2. Similar to what I just said, I want to be proven that, we can score a bunch of runs here. I don't think Detroit's going to score that many runs. So Texas, you can still go out there and score, 5, 6 runs and cash an under here because I don't think Detroit's really going to score that many runs. So I lean towards the under. All right, Angels taking on the White Sox. Angels favored in this one, but not as much as I would have thought. They're coming off of losing 2 of 3 against Colorado. They did have that massive win, 25-1. Chicago coming off winning 2 of 3 against Boston. These two teams earlier in the year, Angels took 2 of 3 in a series here. And on the mound for them today is going to be Reed Dietmers, 1-5 with a 5.04 ERA, going up against Dylan Cease, 3-3 with a 4.22 ERA. Now, I don't like to fade Dylan Cease. I know I call him Cisse, but I don't like to fade Dylan Cease. But I think this is a spot where we can do it. I think this Angels team is going to come out of that series against Colorado and say, 1, how the hell we scored 25 runs in one game? 2, how do we lose 2 of 3 against a Rockies team that really isn't all that great? I like them in this spot. I think you're getting fair odds because Cease is on the mound for the White Sox. If not, I think that this Angels team will be more heavily favored. So maybe I'm a psycho. Maybe I'm fading the better pitcher in this matchup, but I'm going to look at the Angels on the money line in this one. And then in terms of the total, I'm going to look at the under 8.5. Obviously, I do have to respect the pitching to some degree, and I really do like Dylan Cease on the mound. He's been pitching okay, but he's definitely willing and capable and able to go out there and have a studly performance. I get that, but both these pitchers have looked good in their last few starts, especially Dietmers coming off a 7 innings pitch, 0 earned runs, .4 whip, 8K game against the Dodgers last start. So you got to give credit where it's due. I like the under in this one, but I also like the Angels. Call me crazy, but I do like the Angels in this one. In our last game of the slate, we have Seattle taking on Washington. We do have updated odds. We took the screenshot of the graphic, obviously, a while ago. But right now, the Mariners are minus 250 on the money line, minus 125 on the run line, and the total is sitting at 8 runs. Washington coming off of 2 straight wins against San Diego, and they're plus 215 today. Mariners coming off of 2 straight losses against Baltimore. I might be crazy again, but I'm going to lean towards the underdog here. That's where my value is, plus 215 on the money line or plus 110 on the run line. That's what I'm going to look at. Do I make that a final play? It's a long shot type play, so keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we do roll with it. But again, Washington coming off of 2 games in which they went outright. They were plus 157 closing odds against San Diego. They win that game. And then yesterday, plus 170 closing odds. And they're just underdogs in every single game, yet they've still won 3 of their last 5 games. So it's not all that outlandish against a Seattle team that is struggling here. They've only won 2 of their last 6 games here. Now, they've played some good competition. I'll give them that. But nonetheless, give me Washington, maybe on the run line as well. You can get plus 1.5 for plus 110 odds, still good value. And then in terms of the total 8 runs, I do like the over here. This Washington offense scored 8 runs yesterday. Can they do that again? Hopefully. The Seattle offense did look good just a few games back. They've kind of cooled off, but I like the over. On the mound for the Mariners today is going to be Luis Castillo, 4-6 with a 2.89 ERA, and then Trevor Williams on the mound for the Nationals. Castillo's coming off of 3 straight pitching outings that's like isn't really that great. His earned run average through those are not great. He's at pitching like 5 innings, 3 earned runs type of thing, and then Trevor Williams, like we know what he is. He's coming off of a good outing, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, .8 whip, and 4 Ks against St. Louis. But let's put in the context that that's against the St. Louis team in the middle of their offensive struggles here. So I'm going to lean towards the over here as well. But yeah, I'm curious to see if we can get the cojones to pull the trigger on the Nationals. Yesterday we didn't. I leaned that way and I didn't have the what's to pull the trigger. But I think that they could compete with the Seattle team, even though I do believe the Seattle team is the better team. For plus 215 odds here, could be some value there. But guys, that is all I have for you guys today. Quick video. If you guys made it to the end of the video, comment 13. We're right at the 13-minute mark right now, and I do have to say, sorry, I'm like still, I don't know if you guys remember, like a week ago I was talking, I'm still fairly, like it's allergies or something, I'm like sick as a dog out here, and getting up super early in the morning to record the videos doesn't help when you're sick, but we're still grinding through it and trying to bring the energy, but sometimes it's tough like today, so hopefully you guys don't mind or can't even tell, but nonetheless, guys, yeah, drop 13 in the comments if you made it till the end of the video. I appreciate you guys if you did, and if you haven't hit that like button, haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so now. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.